You see them everywhere, right? Those massive, bright yellow machines. I mean, they're the absolute titans of construction, the workhorses that have literally shaped the ground under our feet. But the story of Caterpillar, oh, it's so much more than just steel and engines. It's really a story of insane ambition, game-changing innovation, and a super bitter rivalry that ended up building a global empire.
So yeah, let's get right into it. We're going to go behind that famous yellow paint and really uncover the dramatic, kind of crazy origin story of two brilliant inventors. Their competition, well, it would literally change the face of the modern world.
Okay, so at the absolute heart of this whole thing, you've got two main guys. And look, these weren't just your average businessmen. They were total engineering geniuses, and each one was absolutely driven to outdo the other. All right, so on one side, you've got Benjamin Holt. This guy's the established pioneer, already a huge name in farm machinery. And then, on the other side, there's Clarence Leo Best. We'll call him C.L. Best. He's the young, ambitious upstart. But here's where it gets really interesting. Best actually got his start working for Holt. It happened right after Holt bought his father's company. I mean, talk about a complicated relationship from day one.
But believe it or not, the bad blood actually started a whole generation earlier. C.L. literally grew up watching his own dad, Daniel Best, who was another brilliant inventor, by the way, go head-to-head with Holt. He even sued him over patent stuff. So yeah, you could say competition was kind of the family business.
So how did this whole rivalry just explode? Well, it all boiled down to one revolutionary invention, an idea that put these two guys on a collision course to basically define the entire future of heavy machinery. The key piece of technology here was the track-type tractor. And the problem it solved was, well, it was a big one. Picture this. You're in California, the farmland is super soft and muddy, and these massive steam-powered tractors with giant wheels, they would just sink. It was a disaster. They desperately needed a solution. And this is where you can really see Holt's genius at work. He knew his tractors were sinking. Okay, so first thought, just make the wheels wider, right? Problem is, that just made the machines ridiculously huge and impossible to manage. So on November 24th, 1904, he tried something totally radical. He just replaced the wheels with a set of wooden tracks running on a chain. And bam, the breakthrough was immediate. The story goes that a company photographer was watching this new machine move and said it crawled just like a caterpillar. Holt heard that, absolutely loved it, and the name just stuck. He went ahead and registered the Caterpillar trademark in 1910, locking down a name that would become absolutely legendary.
Okay, but Holt wasn't the only one with big ideas. Remember C.L. Best? Well, after he left Holt's company in 1910, he didn't just go off and copy his rival's design. No way. Best was a true engineering genius himself, and he set out to build a better machine from the ground up.
And wow, did he deliver. His Model 60 track layer was an absolute masterpiece. I mean, it had oscillating tracks, which meant they stayed in constant contact with the ground for way better traction. He used these special anti-friction bearings to make it super durable. And he designed this powerful engine that could pull just as hard through a turn as it did in a straight line, which was a huge deal. The Best 60, well, it pretty much became the new gold standard overnight. So just as this rivalry between Holt and Best was really heating up, I mean, hitting its absolute peak, a massive global event comes along and changes the game for literally everyone. World War I. Suddenly, there's this huge, unprecedented demand for machines that can handle the awful, muddy, shell-cratered battlefields of the Western Front. And Holt's tractors? They were perfect for the job. So he pivoted his entire company to the war effort, pumping out almost 10,000 tractors to drag heavy artillery and supplies for the Allies. Now listen to this, because this is a crucial point that literally changed history. Holt's continuous track system was so revolutionary that the military minds in Britain, France, and even Germany took notice. They saw its potential, and Holt's humble farm tractor became the direct inspiration for a brand new weapon of war, the very first armored tanks. I mean, think about that. It completely changed modern warfare forever. But here's the thing. While Holt was busy building a global reputation on the battlefields of Europe, C.L. Best made an incredibly smart strategic move. With Holt completely focused elsewhere, Best doubled down on the American farmer, and he totally captured the domestic market that his rival had basically just walked away from. So the war ends, and of course, the world changes again. A massive post-war recession hits, tractor sales just fall off a cliff.
And suddenly, both companies, despite all their successes, found themselves in a really, really tough spot.
Let's just break this down for a second. Holt, he had the world-famous Caterpillar name, right? Plus bigger factories and a huge global reputation. But the military tractors they'd been building were way too big and clunky for farmers. Then you have Best. He had the better tractor design, a much stronger dealer network, and he was in better shape financially. But he just didn't have Holt's brand recognition. See the problem? Neither one of them could really dominate on their own.
So the path forward was kind of clear, but it definitely wasn't easy. The recession was brutal. Benjamin Holt sadly passed away in 1920. And on top of all that, the two companies were just burning through cash, suing each other over patents. Something had to give. Finally, their bankers basically stepped in and forced the only logical solution. They had to merge. So on April 15th, 1925, these two bitter rivals officially joined forces. The Caterpillar Tractor Co. was born. And guess who was chairman? C.L. Best. Now, this merger wasn't just some boring business deal. No, this was the creation of an absolute powerhouse. The new company immediately started using the combined strength of both founders to, well, build the world we know today. Their very first product line was the perfect fusion of the two. You had Holt's world-famous Caterpillar brand name paired with Best's far superior engineering. So models like the 30 and the 60, which were originally Best designs, were now painted that iconic yellow and sold to the world as Caterpillars. They were instant hits, and it just set the stage for decades of total industry dominance. And the legacy they built from that point on is it's astonishing. I mean, just think about the biggest, most iconic projects that shaped the 20th century. Caterpillar machines were there. Carving out the Hoover Dam? They were there. Raising the Golden Gate Bridge? Yep. Supporting the Allies again in World War II? You bet. They even went to Antarctica in 1955 for Operation Deep Freeze, becoming the first equipment to be used on every single continent. The rivalry was over, but the innovation it sparked, that was now literally building history. I mean, it is such an incredible story when you think about it. A journey from two rivals duking it out in a California field all the way to a global icon of engineering. It really makes you wonder, right? If all of that could be accomplished in the first 100 years, what seemingly impossible projects will be built in the next 100?